The Supreme Court ruling means that a new Trump administration rule can stand. Asylum seekers will now have to apply at a third country that they've traveled through for asylum before applying for asylum in the United States. 23-year-old Anthony Pinera arrived at the San Isidro port of entry Wednesday morning with 3 bags of luggage. He had been waiting alone in Tijuana for 4 months and 11 days for his number to be called so he could enter the U.S. and begin the asylum process. He left El Salvador because he says as a young man, he was a target of gangs. He desperately wants to claim asylum in the U.S.
America is a free country. It's a country of opportunities. It's a country of laws. It's a country that has respect for who you are.
I tell him about last night's Supreme Court ruling, and he says that he wouldn't think about applying for asylum in any of the countries he passed through.
All of Central America is the same. It's the worst. Mexico, how many have been murdered? Same as Central America and South America too. We can't go too.
Pinera's number was called, and he entered the U.S. But under the new rule, he will eventually be barred from declaring asylum and most likely be deported back to El Salvador. The new rule doesn't just apply to Central Americans. For months, thousands of migrants from Africa, Asia, and elsewhere have arrived in Tijuana after flying to South America and traveling overland to the southern border. Alfred, who asked me not to share his last name out of fear of being targeted by gangs in Mexico, has been waiting in Tijuana for over 2 months. He fled Cameroon because of its ongoing political crisis and traveled through several countries on his way to the U.S.
I passed through Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, that's Cotonou, Ethiopia, Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico.
He will now have to apply for asylum in one of those countries first and complete the process there to be considered for asylum in the United States. Would he consider going back to one of them to declare asylum?
Not at all. Asylum is where you think you have security. So I can't be forced to seek for asylum anywhere. That's against my wish. So I don't think it's a good decision.
After saying it would give migrants work permits, Mexico has yet to do so for many, and Alfred is running out of money. Still, he's determined to stay and wait for as long as it takes him to be processed for asylum, even if this ban is still in place.
I will still have to try. I'll try.
Why do you have to try?
Because I think where I have to, the U.S. is the most safest place for me.
Asylum officers were given new guidance on the rule this morning. Whether the people who were brought into the U.S. at El Chaparral will be denied entry based on the fact that they haven't applied for asylum elsewhere remains to be seen. Max Rivlin-Nadler, KPBS News.